How about this? Frogsit. Couldn't happen to a nicer couple. Harry and Meghan have been kicked out of their Frogmore Cottage in Windsor after the publication of Spare, or as South Park would have it, Wah! The book in which basically Harry skewered everybody else, including himself. I mean, typical of a plank like Prince Harry, as he was once known, now known as the Duke of Netflix, or Hazza. He's not only kiboshed everybody else's name in the book, including the woman who he lost his virginity to, but he's also kiboshed his own name and kiboshed, I suspect, his own career with the lovely Meghan Markle. Let's talk to the woman who knows about all of this stuff. She is the one and only Angela Levin. Angela, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Well, I mean, I couldn't be, I suppose, more pleased to see that finally King Charles has seen reason. And I like the fact that he's done it quite quietly so that nobody really knew, nobody could accuse the royal family of being petty or vindictive. But he's done the right thing here, hasn't he?
Well, I think it's been it's a silence that's speaking very loudly.
Yeah.
I think it's quite right. I think so many people are getting agitated that although they realise the royal family, particularly King Charles, wanted to be dignified and not get into a row, tit-for-tat row, they had to do something. And I think this is a very smart thing to do. I just hope that they change the locks so they can't sort of creep in without sort of, anybody noticing. But I think it is about time. Harry has said he doesn't like the UK. He's much happier in America. They said it wasn't very big and that Oprah was shocked at how small and cramped it was. It's got 5 bedrooms. Also, they spent £2.5 million of the public money renovating it. It certainly did need a renovation, but they were doing that knowing that they were going to scarper quite soon after it was all finished. What's very interesting is whether this affects Harry's court cases with the Home Office to get protection round the clock. If they're no longer resident here, I don't know that they can get that at all.
Yes.
If they came for an event, they would actually obviously be protected, but they can't then say that. And if he's not resident, if they're not resident here, then what does it mean about the green card, tax issues, in America?
Yeah.
Will he become an American?
Well, if he stays in America for too long, he will be subject to American tax, and he's got plenty of money that they would like to have. Thank you very much indeed. And isn't it interesting to see this lovely, beautiful home called Frogmore Cottage, which, if it's a cottage, I'm the king of Prussia. You know, it looks like a mansion to me. It's got 20-odd rooms, and, this is part of his terrible, terrible upbringing and his terrible life and his awful, awful existence, isn't it?
Well, you see, it doesn't have 16 bathrooms, and that's the disadvantage that it has over what they've got in the United States. They're much happier with home with 16 bathrooms.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think that it shows that the home has been offered to Prince William, which at the moment I believe he's denied. But I think it's a very good idea. Most adults, when their children marry and have children of their own, they downsize. So this has got 5 bedrooms, but he could live in there, and he would be safe because he is still in royal territory, and it's a safe place to be. He's not being sent away altogether.
Sorry, you said William. You mean Andrew, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, you meant Andrew. Yeah, because listen, it's easily done. You know, all these members of the royal family dodging about, not doing very much. But William actually is doing very well for himself at the moment.
Yes.
He's found himself.
Definitely William.
Yeah.
Most people who've lost children go off, as has happened to Andrew. He could downsize, and he would still have a place for his ex-wife to stay. And they could be together there. Or he could go and live in London, as we know. Fergie bought a £5 million house in the centre of London. But if he wants it as a place in the country, it seems perfect. You know, lovely grounds and very close to the other royals.
Yes, indeed. And Windsor is always their kind of spiritual home anyway. It certainly was the Queen's spiritual home, wasn't it?
Yes.
What about what's going on with Harry and Meghan? Because I was doing a piece the other night on the talk of how he is now doing a webinar coming up for which he is offering himself up to people who want to ask questions to him. All you got to do is pay 19 quid or something like that. And you can ask him a question and you get a copy of the book. I mean, how low rent can you get?
Well, I think it sounds as if the publisher wants to get rid of the books, that they've sent them out and they haven't been selling very well. And this is a way of giving them sort of as a present, but also as a way of adding it up on the list of what they want. But it's with another expert on mental health, and he's going to be pouring out the same things that we've heard so many times, Oprah, Netflix, you know. I just don't know how many times he thinks he has to say this before he moves on and forgets it. We've got Meghan's memoir coming up soon after that as well. So I think it's absolutely good timing before the coronation, before we get too close, for them to be evicted. They barely use it anyway. And actually, if they're so rude to their father, their brother-in-law or brother, if it's Meghan, that they should actually, you know, have some sort of action taken.
Yes. Well, I tend to go with Piers Morgan on this, that if somebody in my family, as he said, did what Harry has done, you certainly wouldn't be welcoming them back into the fold. You certainly wouldn't be inviting them to a party. You wouldn't invite them to the coronation, and you certainly wouldn't ever want to see them again.
Yes, but, you know, he might be a king, but he's also a loving father, and he still loves his son. He can't actually tell people don't love them anymore. And he wants to sort of smooth things over. But I think they come to the end where they realise it's impossible. Harry is still saying that unless he gets an apology, he won't come.
I mean,
well, fine.
Well, that's great. And just don't give him one, and then he won't turn up.
Exactly. But I think that he's pushed it too far and been too intrusive on privacy. With William, I'm saying he, you know, he was circumcised, I thought was beyond appalling. It's got nothing to do with
absolutely awful. And also revealing the identity. I know he didn't personally name her, but to be basically in all but name, everyone worked out who she was, the woman who he says took his virginity. And she was very gracious about it. But in the end, she had to just say, look, I have to talk about it because he's basically outed me.
Yes, I think that she behaved with a great calm and dignity as well, actually. But I think what he should learn from that is, although the royal family don't speak out, they don't want to get into a tit-for-tat row, ordinary people won't stand for it, and they will come back with their truth. Harry's always talking about my truth, and Meghan's always talking about her truth, but now it's an advantage for anybody who wants to hear attacks, that they give back their truth.
Exactly right. And also, nice to see Meghan doing what she does best back in the sun this morning. Apparently she's done a promotional video for something called Clever Blends, which is, according to them, a wellness coffee. So I just wanted to know that...
coffee that she actually invested money in 2020. And some people have said, this is left over from 2020. It's not done recently. It's done 2 years ago. And if that's the case, they just want to use it to bring her in the spotlight without her actually having to do anything. I think I need to do a bit of digging on that one. I'm not quite sure.
Yes. Well, perhaps you can buy some wellness coffee and see if it's any good.
Okay, I promise I'll do that.
And then give us a taste test the next time we talk to you.
Angela, if I'm still alive, I'll come back and tell you what it was like.
Yeah, absolutely right. Don't order it under an assumed name is what I would do, just in case. Listen, apparently they were out last night, Harry and Meghan, on their privacy tour, you know. We want privacy! We want privacy! We want privacy! They were spotted in an LA celebrity hotspot. Looking for privacy, obviously, because that's what you do when you don't want anyone to know that you're out and about. You go to a place where all the paparazzi hang out, so they take a load of pictures of you. I mean, are these people actually for real? Unbelievable.